are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
Welcome back, listeners, to Next Level Thinking. Today we are talking about social media, about how it can add to our lives, but how it can also take away from our lives at times. We're talking about the positive and the negative of social media, how it can connect us, but also how it can disconnect us, how it can kind of take us away from reality, and disconnect us from everyone around us. So about disconnecting, how should we disconnect, not from real life, but from social media so that we can be more in the present and in the real life?
Well, sometimes people do now like a social media detox. Have you heard about that?
Social media detox.
Yeah.
I recently deleted Facebook from my phone. Is that considered a social media detox?
Could be, yeah.
Do you still visit Facebook on your laptop or?
I do, way less frequent though.
Yeah. But a detox, I would suggest that would be
complete stop.
Okay.
Yeah. And then actually it could work. There was a research amongst a group of students, and they had to do a detox for like a week or 2 weeks. And so they were not allowed to go on any social media. They had to delete their apps, and they were followed. And they reported that after the 2 weeks, their concentration, their attention improved.
Okay.
And also, their physical and their emotional well-being also increased. So there is something to say about disconnecting maybe for a moment. So they had positive consequences or positive results of being able to disconnect from social media for a while.
So they had better focus. They were better able to concentrate.
Yeah, because if you think about it, social media gives us a shattered mind, right? You get so much information coming and you're going from this to that. In the beginning of this radio show, I got a message. I got distracted and I was like, what are we talking about?
So it's not only in the actual moment that you get distracted by social media, but also in the long term, the psychological effects on your concentration.
So it makes that your concentration is more limited, and it's more difficult for you to concentrate on anything at all.
I can recognize that, because that's kind of why I removed Facebook from my phone, because it was just distracting me in a sense that, and when I was scrolling, and since Facebook now has all the new information and it's not chronologically anymore, you can just continue scrolling until forever. But also the urge to scroll. So when my phone was down, it's like, you know what? I have some seconds, some minutes to spare. Let me take up my phone and scroll. There might be something new on there, a new funny video. So that was kind of distracting me in my mind because I was longing to look at my Facebook wall.
Yeah, and indeed those moments, those empty moments of the day that we fill them up with social media. Well, actually, our brain needs those empty moments to process everything, all the information that came at you, not even on social media, but just real life. We need to process information and get ready for the next moment. But we skip that by scrolling down to...
overflowing ourselves with information.
So it might be good every now and then to take the break. I think the social detox is an option, but it's more also for people who feel that they're completely stuck in also, limiting their time on social media, that it doesn't work. And then you can see it as a protection measure. To help yourself to delete that app, and then it's also not about control only. You can also not find it. You need to download it again. Then you need to have Wi-Fi to be able to download that app.
Right.
So you make it harder for yourself, and I think that might be an option. But you can also put in more structure. I heard of a family, for example, that before they go to the table to have dinner or lunch or whatever, they put all their phones in a basket.
Okay.
There's no phones allowed at the table. And I kind of like that. There's time for real contact. There's time for real engaging.
So they disconnect from online life and they connect with offline life.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that way you can listen and you can really see, hey, how is that other person doing?
And process that information that other person is sending to you.
Yeah.
Actually consider what is being said and what the other might feel, and genuinely connect and respond to that in that moment.
Yeah. But you still gotta also stay in touch with the online world, especially if you have children who are on the online world as well. So I think it's good also for parents to have a profile and be friends with their children on Facebook, for example, so they can follow. Maybe every now and then check like, hey, can you open it up for me, see how it's going? Because there's a role for us there as well to guide the children how to deal with that kind of world and that kind of obstacles that they might find there, like with the bullying. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I think it's very important to check and to be there online with your kids when they're online because it just happens to be that kids are way faster than us adults. Mm-hmm. So even if we think we're up to date with the latest, they're faster than us and they found a new trend. And the scary thing sometimes, now talking about monitoring your kids, Caroline, is sometimes those videos circulate with scary subliminal or not as subliminal messages about either self-harm or... And those are things that often adults don't pick up because, again, social media platforms have this... Algorithm. Thank you. Right. That has this algorithm to figure out what you think is interesting. And since me as an adult, what I think is interesting is not the same as what my child think is interesting. We are seeing different online content, which means my child is seeing things that I'm not seeing and vice versa, which means sometimes I'm not even picking up the things that my child is getting fed to them. So that's so scary. So that's very important that we're aware of those dangers lurking in the dark online.
Yeah, indeed.
Definitely. Yeah. So we see how social media can really affect us, how it can touch us in various ways and how it can have a negative effect. But I like what you're saying, Caroline. It also has such a positive effect because I don't want to completely use this episode to talk down on social media and to say that it's terrible because it does connect in a way.
And it brings you something. You know, if you have a business, if you want to... get PR for what you're doing. You know, even we as an association are really using social media to get the word out there concerning psychology.
Visit APAPSXM on Facebook.
And apapsxm.com, our website. We even have a SoundCloud account where you can find the latest episodes of Next Level Thinking. And also if you want to rerun the one from season 1, they're also there. So, you know, there's a lot of advantages of using social media. And it connects us, it gives us a broader opportunity to share knowledge, to share opinions, and to connect to somewhere where you wouldn't be able to reach to before.
Certain events on the island.
Yeah.
It makes information very, very accessible, which is very good. We need information that brings us to a next level thinking, right?
Exactly.
If we get that information, we need that. So that's awesome about the internet and about social media. We were just trying to explain to you what the psychology is behind it, how we need and yearn for connection, and we want that feeling of belonging. We need empathy. We need that emotional contact with others. And sometimes it's just easier to do so on social media, and therefore we find that either as an escape or as a way to connect easier when it's hard for us to do it in real life.
And that instant gratification, right? In real life, you don't always get the thumbs up so many times as on Facebook or whatever.
Exactly.
Like or heart or whatever. And that might be something to think about, though. Shouldn't we also be a little bit more friendly to each other in daily life?
We should.
Each other a compliment.
Yeah, alike. In real life.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of hiding behind that screen, why don't we do that in real life? Why don't we give each other that positive vibe that we also do on social media when we see something that we like? We like pictures of strangers online. We
Stephanie,
can do that.
I give you a big like for this radio show.
Thank you, Caroline. I give you guys a big like as well. Thank you for being here with me. Social media has its pros and it has its cons. Thank you so much for listening today. Next week, we'll discuss mindfulness because we've been discussing frustration. We've been discussing how we vent our frustration online. But we've also been discussing how online we can find a space to kind of just be zen and find our niche and withdraw at times and be offline, online, if that makes sense. So next week, we're going to talk about mindfulness. I think you might have heard about mindfulness already. It's been buzzing around, and we'll explain a little bit more about that in our next show. This program has been made possible by the Ministry of Public Health and DCOM. Please follow APAP on Facebook to stay updated. And don't forget to tune in next time to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9.
Next Level Thinking.